Even bigger than your wish. Hey, my God bigger than your wish. Hey, my God bigger than your wish. We celebrate Halloween. Put it in the ditch. Yeah, put it in the ditch. We celebrate Halloween. Put it in the ditch. Yeah, put it in the ditch. Nah, we ain't in the dark, cause we righteous. See, you know we with the light gang. Light gang. Yeah, we with the light gang. Light gang. Yeah, we ride with the light gang. Light gang, shining bright. We ain't friends with the night. We with the righteous. Yeah, you know we with the light gang. Light gang. Yeah, we with the light gang. Light gang. Yeah, we ride with the light gang. Nah, we ain't in the dark. We a light inside this world. No, we righteous. You know we with the righteous. You can get just like this. Like bang, don't bang. No, we righteous, but we can hang with the slang. This light shines so bright, I had to lay back. Ain't they Chirac, but we killing demons and watch the playback. Then pull up with our spirit lit up. We showing love to the sinners who was stuck in the club, and now the blood hit they psyche. Feeling Christly, we do the right thing, no spitely. No demons or witches cannot entice me. My sword in my hand like a Mikey, no Freddy Krueger maneuvering from the darkness. Accusers wanna recruit us, cause we was in the dark and his mercy set us apart in the body. We talk the same, we don't complain, cause you know we with the light gang. Light gang, yeah, we with the light gang. Light gang, yeah, we ride with the light gang. Light gang, shining bright. We ain't friends with the night, we with the righteous. Yeah, you know we with the light gang. Light gang, yeah, we with the light gang. Light gang, yeah, we ride.
What's good? What's good, ladies and gentlemen? It's been a while. How y'all doing? Oh man, I want to apologize for being gone for so long. I've been seeing y'all whenever I pop up in Teo and all that kind of stuff. My brother been busy. I've been having to change my whole paradigm of thinking, and my special guest today has been a huge part of that too, especially when it comes to coming out of a colonized mindset. Oh man, so I just want to thank y'all for hanging in there, for showing up, see how everybody is today. And I am just going to go ahead and bring in my special guest today, the Honorable Judge Char. How are you doing today, madam?
Hey, I am blessed. Thank you for having me. Hello to everyone in the chat. You got me over here bopping off of that intro, bro, man.
Hey, you said earlier, it was so hilarious when I was talking with you earlier. You were like, I wanted to have a little bump to it. So I was like, oh, I got you.
Man, a little righteous and ratchet. Let's get it. Oh, I like that.
Hey, I'll be rocking with, man. Shout out to my man Shadiah War. I'll be rocking with him, man. Him and he was with a young brother. I would like to watch his cartoons, Devontae the One, and they had a song together called Diligence, and I love that one too, man. It's really interesting seeing how this awakening is bringing folks together. Like, I'll be watching different people, then I come to find out, these cats know each other. These cats is rocking together. This is crazy. So it's really interesting.
I love it.
And speaking of bringing people together and stuff, man, I was just thanking y'all for how, our situation came up with how we met just through crazy, man. Look, I can't even begin to explain the means of how the Most High has been like just working things behind the scenes, just by basically just doing what you're supposed to do, just following, thinking you following the Most High, and he put people across your path, and you like, man, I'm not the only one. Because I haven't heard too many people have this lovely conversation about witchcraft like that. So when you start talking about it, I come from a family of witch hunters, so I'm like, oh. She's speaking my language.
Yeah.
So go ahead and just introduce yourself, and let everybody know who you are, where you come from, and how you do.
Hey, everyone. I'm Char, and I am from the lovely Caribbean part of the United States known as Miami. Born and raised, completed my legal studies there, and got whisked away from South Florida to Atlanta by my husband, and he dragged me here kicking and screaming. But in that journey, I have become a community servant in everything I touch. I love serving. I love showing up and supporting people in those really hard spaces. I love having difficult conversations, but even more, I love educating and teaching people what they don't know so that they can show up as the children, they daddy children, and that is our creator, Yahuwah. So that is who I am. Nerdy Bible girl, you know, that's where Brother Red and I really we really fellowship in that nerdy realm. Always have been studious, very nerdy. But in my earlier years, I fell all the way off and ended up in a teen pregnancy situation, homeless situation, the domestic violence situation. So my journey from Miami to Atlanta wasn't an easy journey, but by the goodness and the grace of the Most High, He's given me the opportunity to take that struggle and to help people to understand that there's hope, there's forgiveness, there's mercy, there's love, there's always an opportunity for redemption when we would just trust Him and we would just yield to Him. So that's just a little bit about me. And I hang out at the water cooler throughout the week a lot with Brother Red and the work that we're doing for the community and in some spaces, building bridges between the African diaspora and the continent, our motherland. And I'm so honored for the opportunity to meet this brother right here because he was raised right. And we have some amazing exchanges of understanding and insight in the scriptures. So thank you so much for having me.
No, it's my pleasure, man. I often say I haven't had conversations like this since when my mom was around, because it's like, not many people can have just that insight into a lot of spiritual things. And unfortunately, Christianity has warped our insight into a lot of stuff. And unless you've either just been raised a part of it, or the Most High give you that road to Damascus and send you through hell and back, sometimes it's a combination of the two. Really, it's like it's a lot of stuff that you got to go through to see these types of things. So I thank you for coming on and sharing this with me. I appreciate you spending your time, because these revelations don't come easy. I want everybody to know that this is not something. It seems the church has glamorized a lot of stuff, but they don't tell you about the suffering. The suffering that you got to go through to gain these understandings and to gain this type of insight and stuff like that. So I always want to put that out there, because a lot of folks be like, oh, you like, oh, I want to be like that. Hey, are you sure? Because at 14, little young me asked Yah for the wisdom. I know I wasn't going to be as wise as Solomon, because he said, Solomon was the wisest. So I said, I don't even want to be the wisest. I just want wisdom. And man, look, be careful what you ask for. That's all I'm gonna say. Be very careful what you ask for. So what I am going to do is I'm actually gonna, I like to start with definitions and whatnot. So let me share this little screen here. I just want to come in and give a quick definition, because a lot of times, we say things, but it's a difference between like just having a deeper understanding of a thing and just casually saying an understanding thing, So when it comes to law is a binding custom, a practice of a community, a rule of conduct or action prescribed or formally recognized as binding or enforced by a controlling authority. Keep that last part in mind. Enforced by a controlling authority. And then it's the control brought about by the existence or enforcement of such law. So a law is a law when you have someone enforcing it. So these things that we're about to talk about, there is an enforcement measures that are at play in the background. So when it comes to law, just give, you said you had the attorney background and stuff. Just give a good, kind of just a short little brief of how the natural law and how people have to respect the natural law, but they don't understand the respecting of spiritual laws the same way.
It's so important. And when we talk about being awakened Hebrews, Um, understanding that one of the strongest weapons that was used against us was a lawless Christianity. So that we have this, I've heard it called greasy grace, right? You could greasy grace. You could do what you want to do and just say, Lord, forgive me. And you good. Your salvation is intact. But when you understand the laws of creation, and you understand that the natural law, the creation, is a witness of the created law, the word of the king. That's where I typically like to start with a legal analysis, is understanding that Yah is king. And in a kingdom, whatever the king says is law. And so whatever it is that our Father says is law, a lot of the challenges that come against the awakening is against the authenticity or the binding power of our scriptures, but our scriptures are the law. And when you understand that, and then you look, nature testifies to the intention of the king, what the king intended. So when you understand that the way your body was created, your nose was not created for you to run water up your nose, for you to ingest food through your nose. That is the law of your nose, right? The nose is designed to intake air. So when we understand that law is an operation in and of itself, that when the first thing that triggers that operation of law, the law creates the consequence or the benefit of the action that put the law into action. So the example I like to use the most is the law of gravity. The law of gravity is that what goes up must come down. So I can't, as a child of Yahuwah, knowing who I am in Yahuwah as his child, as a seed of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob, I can't go and jump off my roof and think that that law won't apply to me. I jump off that roof if I want to.
Nah, you gotta do is just believe. just manifest flight.
Manifest flight. Manifest flight. So yeah, we when we come into the awareness of our lawless state, not just do this, do that. No. Understanding the intention of the king, and how a lot of times we think Yah is sitting back and he's just punishing. If you do bad, then he pops your hand. But it doesn't always work like that. Even when you look at Genesis 28, you look at the blessings and the curses, those are laws. Those are operational. If you obey, then you'll be blessed. It's almost like mathematics, really, Red.
It's true. It's a process. It's like what we call PEMDAS. You know what I'm saying? The parentheses, exponents, multiplication. You got to do it in the right order. If you don't do it in order, you're going to be wrong.
Yes. One thing sets another thing into motion. If you disobey, then you will be cursed. So it's really math. And it's as certain as math is. And when we understand this, we increase our authority in the spirit.
That's so crazy. You said it's as certain as numbers are, because numbers literally define everything. Everything is defined by a number. Everything from the birth of animals to the patterns in trees and all of this can be quantified with numbers. There is an order to it all. And when something comes up out of order, there's usually some place or some system in place to correct that order within nature. So for us to think that this doesn't exist also in the realm of what we call the spirit realm, or in the realm of what we exist in, that's literally just rebellion. I mean, I'm gonna bring up another scripture that came to my mind. It looks like it's a little small, but I'll pull it down here like this, and it's in what you call it here. We're gonna go to 1 Samuel 15:23. For rebellion is as the sin of witchcraft, and stubbornness is as iniquity and idolatry. Because thou hast rejected the word of Yah, he has also rejected thee from being king. This was what Samuel was talking to Saul after Saul was doing his nonsense. But the key word here is that rebellion is as the sin of witchcraft, and that goes right into what you just said. When the king has declared a thing, that's it.
It ain't up for negotiation.
Yeah, it's no up for negotiation. You know, to use a current example is this celebration a couple days ago. I saw so many Christians online getting mad because people were saying happy holidays, and they're like, no, it's Christmas. You have to put Christ in it. And I'm like, that's just rebellion and witchcraft because he had nothing to do with this. And literally the Bible talks against this very practice, but in your lawlessness, this is considered witchcraft. See, a lot of times we think witchcraft is just the cutting of chickens and stuff like that, but it's another law.
The king, and I love this scripture that you chose, Brother Red, because it actually says what I was saying, the word of Yah, the law, because you have rejected the law. When we see the word of Yah, when we say the word of the Lord, the word of Yah, it's literally another way of saying the law, because the king intended a thing to be. You want it to go, and out of your fear and out of your reasoning and out of your emotions, you wanted to offer him a sacrifice out of something he never intended to receive. You out of order.
And especially given the man that split the seas. Now, this is Moses. He split seas. He did all these miracles and whatnot. But when he built the altar, the Most High said, I want the rocks from the ground. Don't touch it. Don't change it. Don't do nothing to it. There's nothing you can offer me that is going to be worth it. It has to be coming from me and my specifications. He was letting us know that we can't get around this law. We have to go through the law properly. There's no way around the law. And it's so interesting because Babylon's laws all have loopholes.
That every single one. And that's why you can take the same exact law in the American judicial system, and it comes out with two different outcomes.
See, and the Most High ain't built like that. You do this, this is going to happen.
Exactly. It is very certain under the Yah of the Most High what the outcome is. It's either a blessing or it is a curse. It is either you're going to be humbled or you're going to be exalted. It is either you're going to be saved or you're going to be destroyed. Like these are the mathematical equations of the word of Yah and his intention and his will. When we're praying, thy will be done, what we're asserting or what we're affirming or what we're agreeing to or binding our life and our choices to is the certainty of his intention, the certainty of his will. And when we are aligned or we are yielded to, in agreement, congruent with his will, then we are his children. Then he is delighted in us. Then we receive his blessing. We try to have things our way because we were born in a cesspool. And you know, Brother Red, how I feel about that movie, The Golden Child. The Golden Child will talk about us.
The blood in the porridge.
Blood in the porridge, family. The blood in the porridge. Think about Balaam. Balaam was a wizard. The scripture tells us that Balaam was a wizard. He was a practitioner of witchcraft. And a king called upon Balaam to say, I need you to curse these Hebrews. And Balaam recognized that the Hebrews were in the operation of blessing because of their obedience to the law. He made a legal analysis and said, man, I can't curse who Yah blesses. I'm hoping y'all seeing this right now.
It's just like where I'm sorry, go ahead.
Because his advice was this: get them to defile themselves. Get them to eat the porridge with the blood in it. Get them to run after other gods. And then they will be weakened, and then they will be cursed, and then you will have victory over them. Our law has always been like a force field. And our obedience, it makes the force field stronger. And this is what we need to understand about how witchcraft works, because when we are operating in disobedience, we have weak spots that these attacks can come through. That's why the scripture says that a curse without cause cannot land. You have to be in disobedience. There has to be a weakness in your shield in order for a curse from a witch to land on you. But when a witch knows that your force field is intact because of your humility, because of your obedience, because of your respect for the word of Yah and your congruence and your agreement with it, they can't touch you.
All they can do is throw accusations.
That's it. That's it. And what does our force field do? It quenches the fiery darts of the enemy.
Exactly. Exactly. It reminds me of these different cases that come in. There was a guy, he was a streamer online, and all these accusations came out that he had, sexually messed with this woman the wrong way, and all these crazy accusations that just came out. And bro beat him back with the truth. he was well within the rounds of the law, and the law protected him. So nothing happened to him, and all they had was accusations.
Exactly. And so, Red, one of the things that you touched on is what used to grieve my soul so much. Y'all, I worked for about 10 years at Atlanta Legal Aid with our cousins. And it would grieve me how our people would call and they would have a legal problem and their hands were dirty in the situation. And they would say, well, I didn't know that the law was such and such. Your ignorance of the law is no excuse, honey. Your ignorance of the law is no excuse, because now that you have filthied yourself with a bad action, one of the biggest ones, y'all, and I rant about this all the time, that old black wisdom, don't let your left hand know what the right hand doing. We had a lady come, and on the one hand, she had a business that did pretty well, which is why I became confused. How did you get through to me at legal aid? You got to be broke. You got to be in the poorhouse to get to a legal aid lawyer. I found out about her business, and her problem was about her public benefits that she did not qualify for. You make too much money. You had to lie to get these food stamps. You had to lie to get this Medicaid. So which is it? Are you poor or are you well-to-do? Because you can't have it both ways. And I got on her. And the next day, that lady popped up to the office bearing gifts. She was so repentant. She said, oh my goodness, thank you for breaking it down to me like that. I never even thought about it like that. We think we just, look, they owe us 40 acres and a mule. We just getting our just due. Y'all owe us reparations, but you can't lie and expect to be in a place of blessing. You can't work the system. See, we put little cute words on stuff that'll get you cursed. Cute words on stuff that's actually the practice of witchcraft. Rebellion. The Most High says he hates lies. And a liar is not his child. Yahusha said that if you a liar, then your daddy is the devil, the father of lies, because there's no truth in him. So when we lie on an application, when we just, wink at what the real truth is, when we don't fully disclose something that could change the outcome of the matter, we're lying and we're rebellious and we're practicing witchcraft, and we are in a position where we are open to curses and to the powers of darkness hurting us because we're not in the bubble, the safety place of truth.
Because you walked outside of the bounds of the law. So now you're just out there and there's nothing to protect you from the prosecution that's coming. Now you got to come under the prosecution.
Exactly.
And I like how you Go ahead.
I was so moved how that lady repented. Do you know she was Muslim?
Oh,
she was Muslim. That sister repented.
That's a blessing.
Yes,
that's a blessing. Because they've made it, it's just like you said, it's like the golden child, because they've made it normal to bypass the law. Even within churches, it is normal to bypass the law. You have pastors that teach their wives how to control their husbands. That's bypassing the law because they want to keep people in their seats. You have pastors that's telling folks, you got to go name it and claim it and all this other basically manifestation witchcraft nonsense. And that's again bypassing the law. They've turned prophecy from what it was supposed to be into just telling people you're going to get money, you're going to get this. Again, bypassing the law. It's been so normalized to us, we just do it without even thinking sometimes.
Exactly. Because what is the law of how you get what you want? The law says that the hand of the diligent, that plenty will come to the diligent. Diligence is a law of abundance. Faithfulness is a law of prosperity. You can't just jump out one day and put all your energy into it on one day. You can't just put a seed in the ground and expect an apple tree tomorrow. You have to be diligent over a matter to receive the fruit. The scripture says that, and these are laws, y'all. When we look at the Proverbs, the law says that he who tends a fig tree shall eat its fruit. It's showing you the law of diligence. It's showing you that what you want, you need to work for every day. Put some effort into it. Be faithful to it. And one day it's going to go from a seed to having some roots. And them roots, they're going to be growing underground where nobody see it. But it's a tree up under there. And then the next day you're going to have a little shoot come up above the ground. And then it's going to continue to grow. And then the season will come. And this is why the word says, don't get weary in well-doing, for in due season. See, we don't understand seasons, Red. You began the conversation talking about nature, understanding the law that is encoded in nature. You don't plant your seed in the winter.
Come on now.
There's a season for seed planting. For us, for our people, that season is the spring. We understand that is the new year of our people. That is when the time where you begin to sow your seed. And that is the season of seed. How do we know that? Especially here in Atlanta. Pollen is everywhere. Pollen is seed.
Man, your whole car be green. Everybody caught green that time of year.
Yes. You green and looking crazy. Summer is the season of cultivation. That is when the days are the longest and we're working throughout the day from the time the sun come up to the sun go down. But they're the longest season for you to do the most work, to fight off the pests, to nurture, to nourish, to take care of, to look after, to pull up weeds. That is the season of the summer. These are laws. These are laws. Then you have the season of the fall. The fall is what we call the gathering season, the harvest season, and all of our feasts follow these laws, these patterns. The law has always been encoded and encrypted in our culture.
It's no coincidence that the Messiah used cultivation as a constant analogy for everything to explain to us the workings of the spirit realm.
Exactly.
He was giving us foundational laws. And a lot of us have lost that because we're not agricultural no more. We don't grow anything no more. So a lot of it is lost on us, but the law still remains, whether you understand it or not.
our enemy knows our connection to the earth. Our enemy knows that our disconnection from the earth and the law that is built into the earth, it weakens us. Why you got all these people around here making all these New Year resolutions for the dead of winter, and you wonder why most New Year resolutions fail?
Because they start off frozen.
They lawless, they frozen. Lawless. Beginning a thing in the wrong season.
You would look crazy planting a tree in the snow. I'm just saying. That's why I always tell folks, I'm like, why would shepherds be out in the middle of the snow? There's no grass for the sheep to eat. So that's, you look silly with your sheep out there in the snow. Exactly. That don't make no sense.
Exactly. Oh, Brother Red, I read this amazing book. I wanted to learn about shepherds and shepherding, and it was several years ago. And I found a book written by a Gentile. I want to say out of Scotland or Ireland, something like that. And the way he wrote the book was so beautiful because he taught you about sheep and being a shepherd based on the seasons of the year. He taught you why the shearing season is the summer season to protect the sheep, and how sheep be bucking. They don't want to be sheared. and how, he gets tore up most by the flies and fighting the sheep and caring for them because they don't understand that they need to be sheared. And they have a mating season where that's when they breed the sheep. And then through the winter, they have this whole setup for how to keep the sheep and protect the sheep from dying from the cold. Like, it was so powerful learning about shepherding and sheep based on the seasons of the year. And so people who are closer to nature are more sensitive to law because of their proximity to agriculture and nature.
And they understand it more because out there if he's in that area, you said that's common out there. And it's kind of hilarious how one thing you said, how the sheep be bucking against the shearing, but it's for their own good. That don't tell you about us. I don't. And that's the human nature right there. The Most High trying to protect you and get you right. You bucking against it and bucking against it, and he's like, dude, this is the season for this to come off of you to protect you.
We don't like getting sheared. We don't like getting pruned.
Right.
We don't like getting cut.
Hey, that law of thermodynamics, that heat is still gonna come through whether you want to get sheared or not. So you can sit out there with all that fur on you and be hot. That sun ain't gonna change its rules because you don't want to get sheared. And that just goes to show what you're saying, how the law persists regardless of your understanding. That sheep doesn't understand thermodynamics. He don't understand none of that. But the law will still affect them regardless
of you knowing it. And that's why our people perish for lack of knowledge. That's why our people are practicing witchcraft, because we don't know it's witchcraft. That's why our people are weakened, because we don't understand the word of the king is the law.
Man, that brings me to our next word that we want to come into. This hold on, I gotta put it this way. Oh, darn it. Hold on. Yeah, that was so we can make it big. This next word that we have here, because especially when you talk about our people getting into witchcraft, that comes into this word here, a word that a lot of us don't like. It's authority. Because some folks like to buck the authority. Authority is the power to influence or command thought, opinion, or behavior. It's freedom granted by one in authority. That's key word. Granted by one in authority. It's a person in command, a governmental agency or corporation to administer. That's the Babylon one. But the key thing here is freedom granted by one in authority. So you see a lot of folks out here doing a lot of this, what my mom used to call parking lot preaching or parking lot prophecies, or you got these, fake pastors and stuff like that. How would give that to us in the light of how that works and how that flows back into the law standpoint that we were just discussing?
I love to just give recognition and honor to the late Dr. Miles Monroe for his trailblazing understanding of kingdom and our dominion as Yah's creation, over the earth. That is the first authority that we walk in. And understanding that Yah, as creator, created this realm called earth and placed everything in this realm under our authority. He said to us as mankind, take dominion and rule over all of the beasts of the field, all of the birds of the air, all of the fish, of every creeping thing is subject to your authority as my son. And so that is the very first place, understanding authority. And when we're talking about what actually happened in the garden, Adam yielded his authority to a creature beneath him by disobeying the word of the king.
Man. Say that again.
He yielded his authority to a being that is beneath him. So what we do when you let's bring this back to witchcraft, because well, hold on before I do that. When you look at all of the attacks of the Messiah, when the Pharisees had something to say, when he was showing up healing, he was showing up casting out devils, he was showing up resurrecting, their number one argument was this: by what authority does he do these things?
Yep.
When we understand authority, we understand, number one, we will tread on snakes. When we understand authority, they could try to poison us with the food in the air if they want to, but it shall not hurt us, because this was the authority that was given to us. So in the definition that you were sharing, Brother Red, authority is also granted. I like to use the deputized, right? So when you think about the deputy, like the sheriff deputy, there is a sheriff, right, that's hired or elected by the people. The people elect the sheriff. But everybody who works under the sheriff is called a sheriff deputy. This is the granting of authority to enforce the law. Even though there's only one sheriff, the entire force that works under that sheriff is under authority. See, this is why Yahusha was so moved by the what was he? The military leader. He came and he appealed to Yahusha to heal his soldier. And he said, I'm a man of authority. I understand authority when I see it. Just send your word, and I know that my soldier will be healed. He wasn't even of our people, but he understood the granting of authority and the fact that if you have Yah's name on you, this is why it's so important to understand my people who are called by my name. My name is a statement of authority. It's like me as my husband's wife, I carry his name. So when I go in to do business on his behalf, I have authority to speak on his behalf as his wife because I have his name.
Granted by the law.
Granted by the law. So
that's
what the Father wants for us, especially Yasharel, is for us to understand that he put his name on us. He granted his authority to us to have dominion over the earth. This is why our enemy wants us eating blood in the porridge. This is why the enemy wants us to defile ourselves with lying, gossip, slander, ratchet, messy, because it weakens us and we are not operating by the authority of the king, but we have subjected ourselves to Leviathan. See, the king of the witches is that Godzilla that Job talks about, named Leviathan. He is the king of the children of pride. So whenever we are unsubmitted through disobedience, whenever we are unsubmitted through rebellion, whenever we are unsubmitted by not living our lives according to the word of Yah, our king is Godzilla, Leviathan.
Mm.
He is the king of the children of pride.
Come on, man. There's a reason why the dragon was poised outside of the woman waiting to give birth. It was a dragon.
Sir, a dragon. And then here's the other thing about Leviathan. See, because I had to start getting mad. I was in a little prayer group. So y'all, the Most High took me through a journey through Make America Great Again prayer group. He had to deal with my heart after I awakened, because I was angry and I was really, really not feeling none of the descendants of our captivity. And the Most High said, daughter, I can't let you remain in this place of bitterness towards them. And I need you to learn to love them the way that I love them. So I did a tour of duty for 3 years in the Make America Great Again prayer group. And one night, somebody came up in that call, they started binding up Leviathan. And I was like, hold on now, wait a minute. The scripture says you cannot rebuke Leviathan. The scripture says you have no authority over him. If you are in pride, the only one with authority, go and read it in Job, the only one with authority to rebuke Leviathan is Yah's pet lizard. He is made to serve Yah's purposes. He is Yah's pet lizard, and Yah is the only one who can rebuke Leviathan. No human being has power over Leviathan. And you got people out here in prayer calls around here calling themselves rebuking Leviathan. You out of order.
Way
that is
out
a
of order.
lawless prayer. Lawless.
Hey, that's like the federal court trying to deal with something that the local court's supposed to deal with.
Exactly.
You at a local, you're not even a local court, you a municipality. You trying to out here change the constitution. You can't do that.
You don't have that power. You have no authority over Leviathan. When we understand authority, then we become aligned in the authority and the lawful practice of power. See, what's wrong with this world is that everybody wants power, but they want to get it illegally.
Yes.
You don't want to submit to nobody. You don't want nobody telling you what to do. You don't want nobody being able to check you and correct you. You want to do what you want to do.
The Lord told me. What the Lord told me. What God told me.
Bruh, people around here want to be not submitted to our husband, but be an authority over everybody else. It don't work like that.
Woo! Uh-oh. They was liking you before. Now they don't like you.
You out of order. You out of order.
Hey.
Look. Hey, did I say my husband wasn't awake in Hebrew?
Not at all.
But can I find any excuse of that law for me to buck his authority over my house?
Not at all.
I still got to submit to that brother and honor his position in this house.
Shout out to Dr. Selassie. Give him a shout out right now.
Look, and you know, my daddy, he was beating my behind about that. He was like, you just because I give you a revelation don't excuse you from honoring your husband. I don't get a pass.
Man, that's one of the key big things right now, especially within the Christian world, because I'm seeing so many, and it's mainly women. I'm just gonna put it out there. It's mainly women that will come out of church and jump straight into the witchcraft with the whole, putting on all kinds of amulets and charging crystals by the power of the moonlight and all that crazy stuff. Because just like you said, they want the power, but they don't have the authority, and they want to buck the right way to get the authority. So they go doing it their own kind of way.
And serving your lizard king. Because if you are going to practice your authority according to the attention of the Creator, according to the intention of the creator of heaven and earth, the Elohim of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob, that power only comes through submission. Submission is the prerequisite for the exercise of power. This is why Yahusha taught the prayer the way that he did. What did it do? Number one, you are my king, our Father who are in heaven. I'm honoring and respecting you and your throne and your authority as the highest authority. That's number one. Number two, your kingdom come, because it ain't my world, it's yours.
That's it.
Because we look, what they call it, Brother Red? Main character syndrome.
Yeah, man, the main character syndrome.
You are not the main character. The main character is the king.
That's right.
What's the next part of the prayer? Your will be done. So when the most powerful aspect of our created being our will, our choice, our decision-making power, that's ours. The Most High will never violate that. He will never force his will on us. He is so respectful of our will because that's the only way we can prove our love to him. Otherwise, we would just be the robot. If he could make us do what he wanted us to do, if he could make us love him, would it really be love?
Exactly. And he has the authority to do so. That just shows the greatness of him and the restraint that he plays, because we are his creation. He has the authority to do what he wants. He could wipe the earth right now and he would be in his authority. It's fine. But he follows the very laws that he put into place.
Yes, he does. Yes, he does. So he doesn't violate our will. So in that part of the prayer, it is a prayer of submission. By submitting to you, I now am yours. And I now lawfully yield your power. I am now in authority because I have bent the knee. That's my favorite, that's my favorite line from the Game of Thrones.
Yeah.
You will bend the knee.
Bend the knee. That one spoke to me too. My all-time favorite is, what does a lion have to do with the bleeding of sheep? I love that. Oh my goodness. I'll be saying that all the time. Like, hey, look, when folks be running all that junk, what does a lion have to do with the bleeding of sheep? And that lion sit there and he be resting and chilling, and them hyenas be sitting there yapping, and them sheep be sheeping, and that lion just sitting there. They ain't gonna move on his territory. I know that. They recognize his authority.
Yes, they do. Yes, they do. So authority. See, the authority that was placed over us and our ancestors here in this captivity, the authority was that white gay Messiah. That's the authority that was placed over us. And the system of you ain't nothing. You just a slave. You a nobody. That's the authority that was placed on us in our captivity. And our awakening is about returning to the authority. So when the Most High says, I will return you to your former estate, that is a promise of authority according to our submission, our bending of the knee to the king, because he say, okay, I had to put my bride out the house because she was being messy. I had to put my bride out the house because she was around here acting like Gomer. That was that Hosea.
Yep, that was it. Yep, Gomer.
Because she embarrassed me in the witness of all of the kings of the earth and made me look bad. She disrespected my name. She dishonored my authority. I had to let her know, look, I promised you this law was going to operate against you, and I had to put you out of my sight. I can't even stand to look at you right now.
All right. And we have a modern oh, go ahead. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
We have
I was gonna say the modern example was one that one of our sisters talks about a lot with Paris Hilton, how she represented the Hilton name and she was running around tarnishing that name, and they were like, "Hey, we're gonna take away, we're gonna take away the provisions if you keep acting up." They basically Deuteronomy 28 in her behind. You're gonna act right or get gone.
Hey, it's an old Dave Chappelle with the girlfriend was cheating and he worked at McDonald's. He talking about you cut off. No more McDonald's. Exactly. We got cut off.
We ain't got no big ribs, no big chickens, no Big Macs. We don't even get no ketchup packets. We cut off. We ain't
You
even
cut
cleaning in the building no more. We outside. Shoot, we got to go to Crystal. We can't even come to McDonald's no more.
Oh, greasy food.
Nasty
Man.
burgers.
Yes. He removed his hedge off of us. Because we stepped out of authority. We stepped out of the protected place. We stepped out. And that's the other thing, too. Our people were called the perfection of beauty. The perfection of beauty. So what happened is that we married to the king, and his glory made us beautiful. And when the nations looked upon our beauty, we forgot where the beauty came from. See, authority works like that.
Man. And that explains a lot as to what happened with Adam and Eve, because when that situation happened, that's when they noticed they were naked, because they lost the covering of the Most High. Adam lost the authority that he had because he ceded that authority to his woman, and by record, by going in line to the serpent and the devil that had pushed this whole thing into the process. Yeah, that's how the devil ended up with it. Because initially, you had Eve, she wanted to be better than Yah. So, because her and Adam was equal. So she wanted to be better than Yah. And then you got Adam, he being lazy, and he's not enforcing the law of Yah. So he was a lazy king by not forcing the law. And the throne was taken from him. Just like in Saul, just like we see every king, Ahab, every king that has abused the law. We were a kingdom of priests. We were designed as Yah's people in the earth to point them to him, and we showed out, and that's why we are where we at right now. What we are is it's such a shame to see the stuff that we go about and the do, like, kingdom priests running around with their pants hanging off their butt, and the women that's supposed to be the pillars of beauty and poise running around twerking and doing all this nonsense.
Because you don't understand who you are, you don't understand whose authority you have, and you have bought the lie of the dragon's authority of manipulation. See, the power of this kingdom, the world, is a manipulative power. It is the power to manipulate to get what you want, to deceive into getting what you want, to play games with people. And it's an unsubmitted power. And see what this would drive me crazy about it, Brother Red. These same sisters who don't want to submit, and it's not only sisters that do it, but it is more prevalent amongst women. These same sisters who don't want to submit to authority and have power are yielding and submitting to darkness for the power. You still submit it. You can't get away from submitting. This is why it's so important to understand that Leviathan is king over you if Yah is not. You are submitted to a king, whether you realize it or not.
All right, now. Hey, you're going to have that authority over you, whether you want it or not. There is going to be an authority that's there.
Exactly.
Whether you realize it's there or not. You can walk into an area, you may not know that it's a, certain district or a certain county or whatever, but you're still under the jurisdiction of that county.
Exactly. They could still pull you over and give you a ticket. Don't matter if you knew what county you were in. You are under authority.
Ignorance of the law is no absolution of the law.
No excuse. Ignorance of the law is no excuse. That law still gonna operate against your lawless self. You want to come speeding through here if you want to. Break the law here if you want to.
And when you break that law, that's when you allow yourself to come under bondage. Because now you're gonna either pay through money or you're gonna pay through your time.
Exactly. You're gonna pay. Might be a little, might be a lot, but it's gonna cost you.
Exactly.
We want to buck the system, but the system is legal. Like everything is legal. Is the American justice system flawed and racist and oppressive? Absolutely. Like I'm not even gonna sit up here at like this this system is where it's at, because it's not. It's a hot Babylonian mess. But living according to the law, it protects us. It keeps us in a place of safety. It's like the same. It operates like the blood over the door in the Passover episode.
Yes.
The destroyer literally passes over you when you are found to be lawful.
Yes.
It's a picture of Ezekiel's inkhorn, where everyone who would be saved was marked for salvation because they were the ones who cried out against lawlessness, against rebellion, against wickedness, against witchcraft, against darkness. They were marked in their forehead that when the destruction came, it would pass over them.
Exactly. Because that's one of the primary things that Yah brings judgment for. You know, a lot of times Christians want to say that Babylon's being judged because of, you know, homosexuality and all of this other stuff, but they just skip over the fact that it's lawless, that laws are being broken by even those that are supposed to uphold it. And so you're basically you're breaking all these laws and making loopholes for things to suit your own greed.
Your lust and your wickedness.
Exactly.
You are more lovers of yourselves.
What I love,
people.
One of the examples that I love to use is the one with the Japanese pachinko parlors. How it's illegal to have gambling in Japan. Gambling is illegal, but you see pachinko parlors everywhere because they have the loophole where they go in and they'll do their gambling and they get these little balls, and they take the balls, little steel balls, to the counter, and then they get like a gift, and then they take that gift and go next door to a company that's not associated with the pachinko parlor, wink wink, and you can change that gift for money. And that's like a modern representation of this system. And even in Christianity, because it's like, oh, it's not this, we're still, you know, we don't have to worry about the law. It's just a matter of your heart and what you think. There's little loopholes that they put in there to try to make you think that there's no authority that you have to bow down to and yield yourself to.
Do you know what you just said is the reason why I hate Joel Osteen's salvation prayer? I hate his prayer. Come into my heart, Lord Jesus. I hate that prayer. I hate that prayer with everlasting hatred. Like, Yahusha is not the very odd parent. Why are we coming to my heart? What does that even mean? Like, you inviting a possession right now. Like, you hollowing yourself out for a spirit that is not of Yah.
Okay.
Because you done said the little prayer, you could go and be all foul and nasty, and just right before you go to bed, forgive me, and you're lawless. You're cheating on your taxes. You're lying on your report. You're stealing time at work. You're getting paid for 40 hours. Well, we don't think about it, Red. We don't think about
it. So don't be justified. I ain't finna do all that. He both tripping. I ain't finna do that. I'm finna just The one thing that had your work done and then be chilling, but just I ain't finna do nothing. He ain't tell me nothing. They gonna pay me, and I'm just gonna sit here like the job owe you something.
Milking the clock is stealing time. You steal it.
That is true.
Right?
It is somebody. It was a story I saw from this lady that had left the pornography realm, and she was talking about how they were on the set of a porn, and they were talking about how they go to church, and they went to she didn't say the name, but I'm thinking it's one of them big boy churches and stuff like that. And all of them on the set went to the church on Sunday after doing all that craziness the day before, and then went right back to their job on Monday. I'm like, what kind of lawlessness is this that you can sit up in a church and then, you know, say a little prayer, give a couple dollars, and then go back into doing foolishness? Like, where is this? Why are you feeling okay in breaking the law like that?
There's a prominent theology school here in Atlanta where all of the professors are teaching theology. They seminar, it's a hot mess. There is a Queen James version of the Bible with a rainbow cross on the front of it. It is an open celebration of rebellion against the king. And it is justified with intellect and philosophies of men and arguments of doctrine. And this is why we are so important to the nations. We who have been entrusted with the prophecies, when Yahushua told Daniel to seal up the book, the only ones who could understand it was us. It was written for us by us. So why? So we can stand in our authority. So rather than praying, come into my heart, Lord Jesus, you actually say, Yahushua, you are the anointed king. You are the one who will be seated to rule over our nation again. And I yield and I submit to your authority as the one who was anointed of Yah.
Yes.
That is what we actually do. When we understand authority, it's not spooky anymore that we just expecting to feel goosebumps about a salvation experience. No, you are actually declaring who your king is and who you roll with in the way that you walk by. It ain't religious.
Come on now.
And the world, the earth, is moaning and groaning for us to show up in the purity of our authority as the royal priesthood, understanding the king, understanding his authority, understanding his law, living in congruence with what he says. When Yahushua say, I only say what my father say, and I only do what my father say, do, that is the dictate and the mandate on our life.
There it is.
I'm supposed to look like my daddy. I'm supposed to sound like my daddy. When you see me walking, you're supposed to say, oh, she walked just like her daddy.
Exactly.
That's what we called to be, Red.
Exactly. The Messiah was our example, and he walked in pure humbleness, the most humble of us all, because literally he was the one that was used to create all this in existence. And he humbled himself even when he came down and got anointed by John the Baptist. That's why John was like, bro, I can't even latch this man's shoes. He recognized who he was. But Yahushua was like, I still have to submit to you for this, because this has to happen. This is a part of the process. The king has to be anointed by the prophet.
Yes.
He's like, this is the law that we set up. All the kings were anointed by the prophet.
Yes.
And this is why, like, and this is something that you know, I'm just letting y'all know, this is something that Judge had brought out that I'm like, dang, when I started seeing the word through the lies of the law, through the light of the law, it changed the paradigm for everything, and it made everything understandable. Like, go in a little bit about how the king, the judge, and the prophet have that circulation, and which really explains why so many people are out of order and in witchcraft.
Yes. Because we got spookified. We got spookified. We don't understand our office. We don't understand our station. Our father promised, I will return you to your former estate. And then he turned around and say, you are the chosen generation, a royal priesthood. So that means we need to understand what is the royal house and what is the priest house, because that was placed upon us as our identity. And both of those houses are houses of justice. Both of those houses are houses of law enforcement. Both of those houses represent the heart of our king. And we are called to it so that we utterly destroy the works of darkness. This witchcraft foolishness that is, Brother Ed. I was in a church service several years ago at a ministry that's known for having prophetic services. And I had fallen asleep in our church. We used to go to a mega church here in the Atlanta area, and it was just like, go to church, serve in your ministry, go home, eat dinner, do it again next Sunday. Like, it was so dead. It was such a dead faith. And I was craving prophecy. And I ended up in this church where it was known to have prophetic ministry. And I met this lady and her son, and they reminded me of one of my clients and his mother. And I got to talking to them, and they was like, yeah, we love coming here because we got ran up out of our old church. And I was like, what you mean you got ran up out of your old church? They were in a church that had become known for manifesting healings. People were coming in there getting healed. And when the reputation of the power of healing got out, they said it attracted witches to the church, and the witches took over. Most of these churches with their apostles, bishops, and propheters are covens. They are run by lawless folk.
Come on now.
Ain't no law in them. They are contrary to the law. They are prophesying. They are divining. They are telling people what they want to hear. They are giving the people with the itchy ears the gospel of their lust and not the truth of this sword that's going to cut your flesh.
Come on now.
That's going to convict you of unrighteousness. That's going to tell you stop lying.
Come on now.
We're supposed to be around here cutting up some stuff.
Hey, I give this one pastor, you know, he was a Anglo man, but he was totally in the right. He stood outside of John. He stood outside of your boy. We just talked about him down there in Texas. He stood outside of his church. Man, his name slips my mind now. Just was talking about him. Osteen. He stood outside Osteen's church with a bullhorn, and he was like, "When was the last time you heard your pastor preach about sin? When was the last time you heard your pastor preach to turn from things that are wrong? When was the last time you heard him give a message that convicted you?"
Never. No conviction of unrighteousness. No conviction of sin. God's best life for you. God's best life for you. No, actually, Yahushua said we're gonna carry our cross, we're gonna die to ourselves, we're gonna struggle for this truth. Matter of fact, Yahushua said we're gonna be hated for this truth.
Man,
Yahushua said your family gonna hate you.
And he showed his whole warlockness when he allowed his witch wife to get up there and say the most demonic thing one of the most demonic things I've seen coming over at church. She goes, "Oh, I want you to all just come out here and just praise God and praise him for yourself. I mean, yeah, God loves the praise, but when you praise, it's really for you."
No, she did not.
Bro.
No, she did
She
not.
inserted self into praise due for y'all. I was like, this woman is Ichabod, that demonic witch. How dare you get up there and turn praises due only into the Yah, the creator of everything, to yourself. Like, are you serious? You praise for yourself?
That's crazy.
And he defended her. He came out and defended her. I would have snatched the mic from that chick. Boy, look at here. They would have thought I would have turned into Ike Turner.
She mess around and get bumped in the forehead with the mic.
Exactly. You'd have heard that. I'm like, nah.
Well,
you know, like, bruh. I'm like, that is the most demanding. And the crazy thing is, nobody left the church. They all sat there. You should have seen a stream of people leaving. Nope. They all sat there.
Out of order, because they've normalized lawlessness. They've normalized. Look, the culture's so out of order. We don't even recognize out of order when it's out of order. You got kids talking to their parents any old kind of way. Look at here.
Oh man.
What we not finna do is call me by my first name.
Oh,
no, that's not we not finna do that.
Oh my goodness. I never understood that. That's literally what paralyzed me as a kid. I'm like, did you just what? the only time as a black child is it okay to call your parents by their first name is when you telling them about something that your parents never did. Like I say, Barbara Jean ain't raised no witchcraft man. That's the only way. Something like that is acceptable.
Out of order, bro. Out of order. Witchcraft is the state of being out of order.
Man.
The most basic definition of witchcraft is the state of being out of order.
Come on now.
Rebellion is out of order. Why was Saul demoted like that? You are my deputy as the king. This ain't your kingdom, it's mine. You don't get to do what you want to do. This is why Moses he was forbidden from walking into the promised land. You are my deputy. I told you to speak to the rock, not to hit it.
Come on, man. Come on now.
Our Father is not playing with us.
Look at here. Uzzah had all the good intentions of trying to keep that cart straight, but he violated the law and his life was required of him by law.
By law. You ain't no Levite. You can't touch this.
That's not your calling.
We be playing, man. We be treating him for play. And that's why I believe that this captivity has been so long and so horrible. Because when we come back, look, this thing broke us. Like, look, we gonna be good. We ain't gonna ever try you like we did before.
And look at here. When I read in Jasher, when the Most High was talking to Moses, and he said, "Yeah, they finna go in there. They're gonna turn away from me, and I'm gonna have to put them up for 400 years. But I want you to write this down so they know that I was more righteous than they. I held up my side of the bargain, my side of the law, the agreement. I held up. You stepped out."
Yep. He kept his vows. He honored his word. He never violated his covenant. We broke covenant. And we stepped into this witchcraft, rebellious, out of order, thought we was the one look good. Look, even the way that matrimony is set up in this old Babylon place, it's all about the bride and not the king. No, ma'am.
That's so true.
It's about the king.
Whew. Man, yes, they've shifted the whole thing about marriage. You know, it's become happy wife, happy life. Yes. It's all about the bride. There's nothing, no honor is given back into the king. The man is subject. The king is supposed to be subject to the queen. Is how they push.
Exactly.
Man, look at here, and that goes right into that rebellion. That's right into that rebellion. That's exactly it.
And you know, the thing is, like, I don't want none of the sisters to feel like, you know, I'd be happy-go-lucky about submission in my house because I grew up in Babylon too. You know, I grew up with a bunch of, like, I come from a long line of Amazon, you know, with the women in my family just big and tall and tough. Like, look, I didn't have this modeled for me, okay?
Nah, true. But it's on men too, because people don't understand that witchcraft is deeper. Like I always say, it's deeper than just the cutting of a chicken and, you know, all that other stuff, because by you being a man and not exerting authority that the Most High has given you, you are like Ahab. That's witchcraft. You are allowing your kingdom to fall because of your lack of leadership. That is witchcraft. You are passive.
Yes, it is.
Being disobedient.
Cause look, Red. Cause the one thing we women ready to do, we ready to go ahead and just run it. we ready to step in and just make it happen. You step to the side if you want to and yield your authority to your woman.
Come on now.
Cause we ain't got no power getting it done. I mean, we don't have no problem getting it done. But we tired. Those of us who know what time it is are tired of leading, of tired of having to get everything done, of having to run everything, of having to be the visionary, of having to make stuff happen. This is how a lot of us are falling into these witchcraft traps because we frustrated with the lack of leadership. And we looking for answers, we looking for vision, we looking for something to make some sense, and it's all kind of booby traps out here waiting for our behinds.
Oh, plenty. Because they're going into the root nature of how all this stuff goes. See, this goes back even before we were together as a people, because all of this came in from Adam and Eve. Like I had said earlier, Eve and Adam were equal. So what was it? Why did the serpent come to Eve? Because he noticed a weakness in her. She wanted to be better than her station. She wanted power. She craved for the power. So she was equal to Adam. So she was cool with that. No, she was eyeballing the Most High. He didn't say you'll be better than Adam. The snake, he didn't say, oh, you'll be over Adam. He said you'll be like the Most High. You will be like Yah. You will be like him. She wanted power, that thirst and that hunger for power. And Adam was lazy. He was lackadaisic. He just sat back and let these things happen because he had that, number one, he had a desire in him too to see what was going to happen. And he didn't step up and take authority like he should. And we see these two key aspects still going on in humans today, regardless, of ethnicity. It's the same thing. You got lazy men and these overreaching women.
What we call it, Brother Red, the precious.
The precious. Exactly.
We want the precious.
Exactly. Hey, I'm like, I'm a man. I got that Adam thing in me because I'm like, man, look, I ain't trying to fight for the precious. I ain't trying to go on all that. I just want to chill. I ain't trying to do all that, man. That's all that. That's too much work. That's too much, because I know when I get in and I gotta, deal with the precious, that comes with responsibility and that comes with authority. So because I understand that, I'll be like, I'm cool. I'm cool. I ain't trying to deal with that.
Now that you mention it, though, that is such a brilliant strategy of the enemy to wear out our men emotionally, financially, physically, in your health to the point where you don't have the strength to rule. You don't have the strength to rule. You want to chill. You want to get out of these people's job where you feel like you've been fighting all day and you just want to chill.
That's always what I used to say when I would talk to my ex. I would be like, I've been fighting all day with these folks, with these white folks. I just want to come home and relax. I ain't trying to, get into that. That's why most men, when they come home, that first thing they want to do is to wash off the day, take a shower, and chill. You sit down and chill. Sometimes you don't even get to the shower. You be so tired. You'll just sit. I'm just sit down for a few minutes. Next thing you know, you waking up and it's 10 o'clock. What in the world?
Wow.
That's the truth.
Bruh, like wear y'all down so that you don't have the strength to lead us.
And then when the woman seeing that lacking that's there, appealing to that desire for the precious in her, he ain't doing it. You could get in there and do it better. You could go in there and do this. Oh, why you should listen to him and submit to him? Look, he ain't even doing nothing. He just want to sleep all the time.
What is he doing? He ain't doing nothing. You know how many women I've spoken to who were so just over it because they were doing everything, like to the point where he couldn't do anything because she had been doing everything, and she's just like, I can't. I'm done. I don't want to anymore. It's exhausting, but you could see the enemy in exhausting y'all and having y'all feeling like you fighting all the time to the point where you're not leading us. And then we around here like, okay, I'll go to take this precious do what I gotta do.
Man,
and we out of order.
It's the same plan since the beginning. It's just been modified for certain things, but it's the same essential plan. Get the woman to aspire to be better than her and get the man to come down out of where he's at. Because Adam came down by allowing the snake to talk to that woman. He came down by watching that woman eat that fruit that he know he wasn't supposed to eat. He came down by then allowing her to take authority over him to hand him the fruit that he knew was wrong. They always throw the shade at Eve, but Adam had the authority. He could have cast them out, grabbed Eve by her weave, and took her to the Most High and been like, hey, I kicked the snake out already. You're going to have to deal with this woman that you gave me because she was doing this to this. So I'm bringing her to you to handle that because she was, about to do this. That's what he should have did. But no, he sat there lazily and he didn't follow the law. And here we are. Working by the sweat of our brow just to make ends meet.
And having to fight to keep our houses in order. Literally having to fight to keep our houses in order.
They understand this. They understand that, which is why they make the laws in their country backwards and make them favor dysfunction. It's no mistake that the laws are slanted to basically have, like, I remember this one judge in Texas made this man pay child support and he wasn't even the father. It's because the woman lied on her paperwork and she said, well, out of all the men she messed with, he was the most responsible. So she just wrote his name down. They did a DNA test. He's not the father of the baby, but he still got to pay child support because his name was on the form.
You don't want to get me started about the custody stuff, the custody and the child support stuff. I've been because I'm quick to tell mothers, these not your kids. They are his seed.
Exactly.
They
Hey,
are his
man.
seed.
I remember
And
when the aunties told me that, I was like, oh my goodness. Had some shout out to the Q2UA aunties where they was all the on the health team. They gave me a lesson. I was like, what? Wait a minute. The kid belongs to the man? That just went against everything. My feminist top mind, because all I grew up hearing is my kids, my kids, my kids, these my kids, my kids.
That's what slavery did to us, and placing the children under the authority of the mother, because the mother became the place of protection, because our men were being emasculated, being lynched and decapitated and having their stuff cut off in front of us and our kids. Like that science, that Willie Lynch science created a lawlessness even in the order of our house, where now my kids becomes the mother's place. No, ma'am, no. When let a father call me and talk about she won't let me see, or she won't let you. That's your seed. You have number one, your child has every right to know who you are as their father. And number two, you have authority over that child's life to direct that child's life. And for you to step back and to fear a system because this system appears to favor women, you are out of order if you walk away from your child. That is your authority over those children. Those children look to you for their identity. Those are the things that, Brother Red, the reason why I became an attorney after years of ratchet, I mean, more than a decade of nearly 15 years, was because my father required me to become a lawyer. I had to deal with my daddy. See, I didn't understand how that contract me and him had made when I was young, fat, and innocent. My daddy said, "You're going to be a lawyer when you grow up." He asked me. He said, "You're going to be a lawyer when you grow up." I said, "Yeah, Daddy, I'm going to be a lawyer when I did not know we had made a contract. I was a little girl. My daddy is the reason why I came out of mess. So when these women walk around here and want to punish men, and I know our brothers be messy and be doing some stuff, but when it comes to these kids, that's his seed. That is his seed. He has authority over their destiny.
That goes back to that blood in the porridge. They created these laws and these systems to put the blood in the porridge of our families, and that's why we so dysfunctional now.
Yes.
Like I didn't, me and my brother talk about it so much that we didn't really realize how much of a blessing it was. And this is why I always give honor to my dad, because my dad didn't have his dad or barely had his mama growing up. And he said, "I'm not going to do that to my kids." And my dad was there. And he showed us how to be men, by just his example and how he moved. And that's something that we don't have a lot in our community. And it's everybody that I've met, whether a male or female, whenever they are the most well-grounded of the Hebrews I've met are the ones that had their fathers in their life. They had their fathers there. All the women that I know that are just the most amazing character, that got married, that are married and still married to this day, they had excellent fathers that taught and poured into them. Almost every single one.
And not even, okay, so my dad that I talk about, that was my stepdad, not my biological dad. My biological dad passed away. My stepdad, he wasn't in nobody's church because he ain't trust preachers. my dad was he was the bodyguard for Reverend Ike. And he was like, "Yeah, I ain't fooling with none of them church folks." my dad had habits. Right. But he was in the house. He didn't talk a lot. He fussed a lot. and he didn't lead us in spiritual things, but he set things in motion with his expectations of us. His expectations had binding authority on us.
See,
So when I popped up pregnant, I didn't understand at the time he was heartbroken. You know, he was talking to me kind of greasy. And all I could see was my feelings. I couldn't see that he was heartbroken because he had a vision for his daughter. Because he knew that there was something bigger for me to accomplish, and this completely sidetracked that. This baby was not a part of the plan. But in the course of time, the binding authority of his expectation, the deal that we made, even like I said, he wasn't that involved, but he did set a course that has a binding, it created a binding authority on my life. And that's why when I hear fathers speak evil over their kids, I go off, because you have a binding authority over your child's future. How do we know this? Because all of the forefathers were blessed before they died.
Come on now.
I'm leaving a blessing over you. You shall be this. Well, what did Jacob do with Israel over all 12 of his sons? He decreed their future. He set the course. He placed an expectation on the outcome of their lives with his words. So when we sit around here, see, we don't even realize we be practicing witchcraft with the raggedy mouth, breaking the law of your tongue. Life and death is in the power of your tongue. You sit up here and you tell a child you bad. You tell a child you good for nothing. You tell a child you stupid. You are literally setting the course of that child's life according to darkness and killing that child's identity.
Come on now. Essentially putting them out of order, declaring the curses on their life.
And what are you doing? What law are you violating when you do that? Not only the law of life and death is in the power of your tongue, you're speaking death over one that you're supposed to love. You're also violating the intention of the king, which says that my plans are to prosper you and not to harm you. My plan is to bring you to an expected end. I know my plans for you. So when we speak contrary to the destiny that Yah has placed on our children, then we are violating Yah's intention. We are working against the king's heart concerning these children, because he sees destiny in them. He sees prosperity in them. He has set an expected end over them. How do we know that? Because he did it before he ever belonged to you, before you were ever formed in your mother's womb. He determined it. And we violate his law when we speak evil like that.
That Ephesians 6, children, obey your parents in the Lord, for this is the right. Honor thy father and thy mother, which is the first commandment with promise, that it may be well with thee and thou mayest live long on the earth. And ye fathers, provoke not your children to wrath, but bring them up and nurture them in the admission of the Lord.
Hallelujah. Hallelujah.
Right there with, again, just right there what you were just saying. Right? That's nothing but word.
Hallelujah. The thing that the father say is what your daddy say. I'm sorry, but it does carry a lot of weight. It carries a lot of weight, the words of our fathers. A lot.
We take words far too lightly because, again, blood in the porridge. They've raised us up with these terrible colloquialisms. Oh, I love you to death. And, oh man, all these just terrible words that we just say, and we don't think nothing about the words that we say. We just say things. And when you really start taking into an account the words that you say, it makes you want to just learn a whole new language. I'm just speaking for myself. Like, these words are they are filled with such demonic loopholes that you be saying stuff that you don't even realize. You be opening yourself up for all these different things. And it's magnified by the fact that you got the broken homes, and then you got broken fathers and mothers speaking nonsense into their children.
Exactly. And we don't realize it's all lawless. It's all witchcraft. It's all submission to the Dragon King, Leviathan, Godzilla.
Come on.
All of it. It's all rebellion to Yah, He says that when he made us fearfully. He made us wonderfully. And then we take his intention. Intention is a really, really big aspect of understanding and practicing lawful living. What is the king's heart concerning this matter? See, that was the beauty of Yahushua's ministry when he first walked the earth. He was revealing the king's heart behind the commandments. He was helping you to understand what the king's mind is. You could do the right things and still be lawful because your intention is wrong. Because you're seeking to manipulate an outcome by appearing to do the right thing, but your heart is wicked and it is a lying thing. The heart. That is the root of witchcraft. Your intention. Are my motives pure towards you? Are my motives to tell you the truth? Are my motives to love you like I love my Father and love you like I love myself? Are my motives to treat you like I would want to be treated? Are my motives to see you blessed and to see you prosper? Are my motives to see you do well and to celebrate you when you're blessed and to cry with you when you're going through? Or are my motives laughing at you when you're hurting?
Come on. Come on.
I'm bringing a plate of fried chicken to your house, but I'm laughing and talking crazy about you behind your back.
Come on now. I'm just here just to see the effects and, you know, secretly laugh at you and secretly even sometimes throw stuff at you. Because a lot of folks that do a lot of these gifts, some of them, you know, my grandma did not like my mom too much and she was always giving her gifts, but each one of them gifts had blood in the porch.
Brother Red, that sound like the voodoo doll my grandma had sent to the house when my mama broke up with my daddy.
Oh man.
that Jamaican lady sent a voodoo doll to my mother. And my mother didn't realize it at first that that's what that thing was. She was trying to tear up my mama marriage.
Wow. See?
Yes.
See?
Messy Jamaican lady. Yes, she did.
Because this is the norm that we are thrown. Like, even though Christianity comes out of the Bible, it's not the Bible. It's such a artful deception, this religion that they've created, because it takes the principles of the word and it strips the law from them.
Exactly. Exactly.
That's why they always tell you, like, I did not know that people didn't know the Old Testament until I came into the awakening and I started talking to other Hebrews and they would be like, yeah, in my church, we never learned the Old Testament. And I'm like, what? Wait, what? How can you understand the new without understanding what they call the new without understanding the old? Like, the Torah is the foundation for everything. Everything the apostles spoke, everything the Messiah spoke was Torah.
Yes,
it was the law.
Yep. Everything was Torah. And that's why, you know, like, I don't get into doctrinal debates with folk. I talk about the king and his word and his intention and his law. Like, look, it's non-negotiable.
Come on now.
That's what the king said. That's what the king meant. That's why Yahushua was able to stand 10 toes down and he said, if you hate your brother, you a murderer.
Come on.
Because that is the king's intention. Why he told you not to kill. He told you not to hate somebody to the point where you would want to see them dead. That is murder. If you think it in your heart, you did it.
Come on.
If you looked at that woman lustfully, you already slept with her.
Come on.
It is the king that is weighing your intention, the king that is weighing your motive, the king that puts your heart in the balance when he judges you. You ain't fooling nobody because you showing up every Sunday.
All right, man. Hey.
And running laps around this church and getting slapped with the olive oil.
Falling and rolling.
Falling and rolling. You are not getting no cookie for that.
Exactly. But Lord, I ran 3 miles around the church and fell 15 times. I don't care nothing about that. It's the showboat and theatrics. That's all it is. It's no different than the Pharisees when they used to frown their face up when they were fasting.
It's exactly the Pharisees. You doing everything right on the outside. You giving the appearance of holiness, and your inside, Brother Ed. Let me tell you the testimony how the Most High revealed this to me. Oh, this was a long time ago too. I hadn't even started law school yet. I went to the grocery store And I don't normally even cook with red bell peppers, but there was this bell pepper inside of the grocery store. It was so pretty. I couldn't stop looking at it. So I bought it and I decided I would cook with this red bell pepper. And it was kind of shaped like a heart. It was so pretty. I get the bell pepper home and I cut it down the middle, and inside it was rotten, black.
Mm.
And the Holy Spirit said, this is exactly what you look like. You're beautiful on the outside and you rotten on the inside.
Mm.
Man, I was so broken. I was so broken. I might have been 27 years old when I had that encounter, and I fell on my face and just started repenting all kind of manner of evil. I was serving in the church. I was on staff at my church. I was in church every time the door opened. I was doing this and sacrificing for this and I was a tither. I tithed religiously, and the Ruach told me, "You're gorgeous on the outside and rotten on the inside."
And that's the culture of this religion they put us in, to have us in a religious show, but still be out of order, still out of line with the law. You look good according to the religion because you're there at the church on Sunday. It just don't matter what you're doing in between the Sundays and the Wednesdays when y'all meeting up. You know, they don't put no onus on following the law in its fullness.
Let's just not pick on church folks though, Christianity folks, because we got people in the awakening, y'all.
Oh boy,
we got people in the awakening that walk around with a foul disposition towards their brothers and their sisters, who quick to open up their mouth and repeat slander and gossip about their brothers and sisters, who secretly hate their brothers and sisters, who waiting to hear bad news about their brothers and sisters. The awakening don't mean by default you done got a scrub a dub on the inside.
That's right. That's right.
A lot of us awaken to pride and arrogance about our birthright and haven't gone through that transformation of the heart.
Yes.
A lot of us are still practicing witchcraft, but we just putting some Abraham on it because we know who we are.
Come on. It's still religion.
A lot of us are dealing with issues of unforgiveness, bitterness, and resentment because we got heart issues that we haven't trusted Yah to give us justice in. So we want to get justice for ourselves. A lot of us who are awakened, we got heart issues and we are actively practicing witchcraft. Come on now.
Vengeance is mine, saith the Lord. A lot of us need to remember that. So many folks are too happy to see some, European folks go get some comeuppance, and it's like, look at here, man. We here to be a witness. And if you ever, when you think about it, like how they used to do the old electric chairs, they would have the witnesses and stuff there. They wasn't there cheering. They wasn't there having a party and throwing it. It was a solemn thing that was going on. Because you're watching justice being administered. This ain't nothing to jump on. It's good to celebrate to come out of bondage, but don't be sitting here celebrating what, other folks getting what you just got off of you now. Come on now.
Exactly.
Come on now.
We have to be sober-minded about this stuff. We really, like, when we who are called by Yah's name, who were created and destined to operate in his authority, repent and turn from hatred. I just told y'all, I did a 3-year tour duty on the Make America Great Again prayer group. It was the hardest thing. I could not stand them. I'm so serious, Red. I could not stand them. I could not stand them not recognizing they had the Hebrews amongst them. I could not stand going into their church services and they weren't preaching the gospel of our awakening. I could not stand them not putting respect on our name. Most High had me praying with them every Monday night until he broke that hatred off of me.
Mm.
Ain't nobody gonna come and bend the knee to Yahusha because you are Abraham's seed. That's not the gospel of the kingdom.
Come
The
on,
gospel of the kingdom is that the king found a way to remarry his bride. That's
come
the
on.
gospel. The king found a way that he could die so he could actually qualify to remarry her, because under the law, he could not remarry a woman who had married herself to another man. Do you know that the law says that when a man puts away his wife and she binds herself in marriage to another husband, that she cannot go back to her first husband and remarry her first husband, that by doing so it is an abomination and it causes defilement in the land. It is unlawful for a man to remarry his first wife after she's been married to another. The king found a way in the law to remarry his bride, y'all.
Come on.
That is the gospel of the kingdom.
Come on.
He knew that he had to die to fulfill the requirements of the law, and so did the bride. We die daily that Yahushua HaMashiach may live.
That's right.
This is the fulfillment of the prerequisite to remarry. The whole gospel is about a king and his bride.
That's it.
Ain't got nothing to do with you, Abraham's seed. Don't save nobody. That ain't convict nobody of unrighteousness.
Hey, we wouldn't be here if that was the case. They had the understanding far greater. We just now coming back into the understanding, now looking at the scriptures, seeing that, that back then they couldn't understand mystery Babylon and all this stuff. They was like, man, this is why Daniel was like, knowledge will increase, because he's like, I don't even understand half the stuff I'm prophesying about. Now it's clear to us because we living in it. But they had a greater understanding of the legal nature of the spiritual link between us and the Most High. That's why the people, when Moses came down, they had to come into an agreement. He made everybody come into an agreement to say, yes, this is what we'll do. This is what we'll go into. It was a bonding. It was like with marriage, you have vows. Exactly.
It was a wedding.
Exactly. They were giving their vows. Exactly.
You had the tribes that stood on the one side of the mountain and the other tribes that stood on the other side of the mountain. They were exchanging vows with the king. It was a wedding. The Exodus was a wedding.
Come on now. And
the
then we wonder why the
gathering,
enemy
the
attacked marriage.
tabernacles is a wedding rehearsal, family. Like, this is the gospel. This is the gospel that Yahusha says that when this gospel is preached around the world, then the end shall come. Not the gospel of your bloodline, not the gospel of your DNA, not the gospel of the judgment of your enemies, but the gospel of the king and his bride remarrying. This is what the picture is about. The king has arranged a wedding. He loves us so much, he had to die to remarry his bride.
Come on now.
A love that self-sacrificed because he couldn't violate his law.
That's right. That's right. Come on now. This is why the enemy has so much beef and it breaks down marriages and the relationship between men and women so much, because I hate using that term that these Satanists use, but it's an expression of a true part of the law. When they say as above, so below, you see things happen in the macro as you see it happen in the micro. This setup of marriage in the earth is just an example. Just like he used the farming and all the other things, this is just an example so we can understand these legal principles of how the Most High is dealing with us in this realm.
Hallelujah.
So they want to warp it. If they warp your view of marriage on the small scale, well, of course you're not going to be faithful to the Most High. You're not faithful to your own woman.
You know why you don't have to use the term that they use, because it's in our prayer. On earth as it is in heaven.
That's it. That's it.
We getting ready for a wedding, fam. And when people hear about Yah's love for us, that yes, he put us out the house. Yes, he turned his face away from us and our nakedness and our fall from our prior estate. Yes, he allowed our enemies to have dominion over us for a season. That he loved us so much. And he loved the world so much that he took and used our foolishness to make a way for all to be saved. All humans to call upon his name and to be received by his sacrifice.
That's right.
It's a love story. That's the gospel. How are people supposed to know that we family, y'all? By the way, we love each other. That's the evidence. Love.
That's it. That's the one thing they try to just beat out of us so much now. I mean, people barely even talk to each other anymore. My brother and I talk about that a lot. We from the South. And, you know, it's like, you know, my daddy raised us. Hey, you better speak when you walk by and see somebody. You better not walk by and don't speak. You better speak. And people don't even do that no more over here in America. It's like they were trying to rip us away from our first estate so much. So that we don't even recognize. So it's like it becomes anathema in our mind to the way that we are supposed to be, the way that we were called to be.
Yes, it's in us. And that's why Yahusha said, Matthew 24, the love of many would wax cold. You know the reason why the nations are going to look to us? Because they're going to see love.
That's right.
Because we look like our daddy.
It's
For
so
he
funny
who loves not knows not Yah, because Yah is love.
I had just seen a video lately of it was a Hebrew man. He was in China, and he was talking with this little girl. She was a little Chinese girl. She probably was like about maybe 3-4 years old. And you know, they don't see, you know, dark-skinned people, so she was curious about him. And you know, she's like, "Oh, you're dirty." You know, "Oh, you're dirty." And you know, he answered all of her questions. You know, you would think that it would be like, oh, you know, you'd be like, come at her, but he answered all of her questions with such love and patience that I'm even looking at the comments, and all the people were moved by the patience and the love that he showed that young child. Now he could have, you know, got up and went angry on her. Oh no, you know, actually, your nation gonna bow down to me, and we gonna do that. All that foolishness.
It's vinegar. You can't attract flies with that.
Come on now.
You attract flies with honey. People respond to love. Love is the only force stronger than fear. Perfect love casts out fear. Our assignment is to be love perfected, love personified. You see a teenager, y'all, I got a special place in my heart for teenagers because I was a hot mess one. And then when they come to them teenagers, it's little that they could do wrong in my eyes. You know how you get a rebellious teenager to respond to you? You love on them. You listen to them. You don't take the position where you just lecture them, but you get into their world, you hug them. You know why kids in middle school hug so much? Because the adults stopped hugging them when they started getting smelly.
It's true.
People respond to love. The world, you know why everybody's online? Why people going deeper and deeper into the matrix? Because everyone's searching for it. And we are the key to the king's heart, and the king is love. The nations respond to love. We ain't got to show up and tell everybody you gonna burn.
Come on now.
We show up with the gospel about our Father's love and his receiving us back, because it also tells the story of justice. You won't be able to blame him for being unfair because he judged us first.
That's right.
And you saw how bad our judgment was.
Man, come on. Man, look, it's gonna be an example for all the nations to see, especially not just
Yes.
us, for all nations to see that, man, this was Yah's people. We read in the word all their splendor, and we see where they've been for the past 400 years, and now we see them back in their splendor, back following the ways of the Most High. It's going to be a cautionary tale for
Yes.
humans going forward. That's really what it is.
Hallelujah.
It's not for us to be arrogant and to be prideful, because if anything, it's a shame. That's why I tell most Hebrews all the time. It is shameful to see a king walking around with his pants hanging out his butt, acting ignorant, just dumb, running around doing silly, stupid stuff. It's ignorant, some of the stuff we see our folks doing. That's nothing to be proud of, to be like, oh yeah, we this, we that. And then you turn around and you see all this ignorance being pushed. Come on, man.
It's heartbreaking. It's heartbreaking. And we should be responding out of that same loving kindness, the nature of our King. When we see our people ratchet, when we see our people lost, when we see our people lawless, our response is to be the same as the King. Forgiveness, mercy, and loving kindness. And I'm not saying be a pushover and put up with mess. You have to have wisdom. But we want justice so badly that we want to hurry up and see this place burn before we've gotten the revelation of our King's love. And he doesn't want any man to perish.
That's right.
We should be out here. The harvest is ready and the laborers are so few, and we should be out here figuring out how to harvest up these souls, how to call in the ones who will bend the knee to our King, how to draw them. He said, what? With loving kindness have I drawn thee.
That's right. That's right. We should be the ones leading the way with empathy. When I see what's going on with these other nations and the injustices that they have, I feel empathy towards them because I understand it as one who's went through that injustice. So showing love to a person that has gone through that is far more impactful than sitting there on the corner and yelling scriptures at them. Dressing up like a purple Power Ranger, getting on the corner and hollering and screaming at folks and doing all this nonsense. That I've had the best conversations with basically non-Hebrew folks when it comes to talking about the Hebrew system, with just a calm, loving conversation. I don't got to come in and be like, you did this with this accusatory stuff. It's just, we just talk about things as a matter of fact. I tell the truth. I'm not going to lie. I'm not going to go to shake the truth. But because you come from a point of just facts and just of a conversation, of understanding, the response is different. Some people gonna respond crazy. That's all right. You just dust your feet and keep it moving, just like the Messiah told you. But the one you'll find that more often than not, you'll get a good response from folks like that, because they're gonna be like, okay, I've never heard this before. I've never heard, somebody bring the scriptures out like this before, or interpret the scripture like that before.
Red. That's how my Ashkenaz folk be looking at me when I be breaking that Torah down to them, bro. I sit and I had coffee with my Ashkenaz folk. I was sitting outside the courthouse with one Ashkenaz lady, and everybody who she knew walking out of the courthouse, she would introduce me to them. She said, she's more Jewish than we are. I was teaching this woman the King's heart through the book that y'all supposed to know that you don't know. Because the revelation of his love was given to us.
Come on now.
And that esteem and that honor for me as Yah's child, her natural response, and I never said to her, I'm an awakened Hebrew. I never said that to her. We would go walking and I would tell her Bible stories. Like it was Sunday school. And I was like, this is what the Torah means when this story happened with so-and-so and so-and-so. And it was just like opening her eyes. She was like, oh my gosh, I didn't know that. Because she got a bastardized version of the Torah, just like we got a bastardized version of the Bible.
Exactly. Come on now. We forget that they're as much of the victims in a lot. Not all of them are the rulers of this system. A lot of the folks that we deal with in our day-to-day, they're just as much of a victim of the situation as we are. You know, this is why the word says that they'll wake up and say, we've inherited lies.
Yep. I have this one Ashkenaz lady that we're like referral partners. She said that when she was in the 4th grade, a Black kid got up and started digging through her hair. And she's like blinching. She's like, stop touching me. What are you doing? I'm looking for your horns because because you're the synagogue of Satan.
Wow. Dang. Get out of here. That's so rude. Your horns. Oh my gosh.
The little boy was looking for her horns because the parents were telling him at the house that it was the devil.
That is hilarious. That's so bad. That's just the equivalent of that little Asian child thinking that man was dirty.
Little kids are so honest.
They are very honest to a fault. They gonna tell it like it is.
Where the horns at?
Exactly.
No, they up in here.
Oh man, no man, that's you know, and that's another form of the blood in the porridge, because they be using our emotions to get us out of whack. So now we breaking the law, we bringing justice into our own hands. That's not our job. It's not our job. You know, our job is that we can pray for justice. Absolutely. We can pray that for the wrongness and stuff that's being done. That is totally our job. We can call down fire and the judgment for the things that we are just, but it's not our job to light the match to bring the fire. we just make the appeal. That's it.
What about this aspect of justice? You know, and talking about witchcraft, right? We talked about rebellion, we talked about disobedience, we talked about Leviathan, we talked about lying, all of these things that are actually doorways, gates, access points for witchcraft and operating in witchcraft. Here's how justice works, family. Here's how justice works. It's a doctrine of the law. It's called the doctrine of unclean hands. You do not come before a judge demanding justice from someone who did you wrong when your hands are also unclean.
Come on.
Let's receive our justice. Again, looking at what is that? 2 Chronicles 7:14. If my people who are called by my name, number one, humble, humility. Number one, we clean our hands through humility. Number two, pray. We call out to the source of all creation, our source, our king, our provider, our protector, knowing and trusting him in all of our ways, and he directing our paths. Number three, turn from our wicked ways, our lawless ways, our out of order ways. Then the judge will hear our cry for justice. Then he will heal us. He will heal our land. Do you see the justice? Do you see how justice operates there? Do you see how the law operates there?
Yep.
We will receive justice when we clean up our act.
That's right. That's right.
You do not go into a judge and be telling they dirt before you tell yours.
All right now.
You first throw yourself on the mercy of the court. Father, I've been a liar. Father, I've been cheating and stealing. Father, I've been sloppy and messy with my mouth. And I am asking for the judgment of your mercy. Mercy is a judgment. It is the opposite of wrath. It's only two sides to Yah's judgment. The king's judgment is mercy or it's wrath.
That's right.
You throw yourself on the mercy of the court. That is what 2 Chronicles 7:14 is. If I'm quoting the right reference, please forgive me if I'm not. it is saying, first throw yourself on the mercy of this court so that I can give you justice, family.
That's right. Or else you look like when your sibling getting the whooping and you be laughing too hard. Well, hey, you better be quiet and be solemn when you in there hitting them get a whooping, because if you be in there laughing, your mama walk by, your daddy walk by, and they see, oh, you laughing, you get it too. Yeah, because it ain't your time to get caught. You in there laughing too hard. Nah, come on. You gonna get some of this too. Like, hey.
Yes, and I remember babysitting my little cousins. I had 2 little cousins. Oh, they were always fighting them too. She did this, he did that, but he did such and such. Now you done got both of you in trouble coming in here snitching. You knew you were being bad, and you did something wrong, and you came in here to get them in trouble, but you didn't tell me about the bad you did. Now both of y'all in trouble. Now neither one of y'all can play with it. I'm taking
Exactly. You started it. But because they got the better of you, you're gonna go tell.
Mm-hmm.
Exactly. It's kind of like a crack dealer going to tell on his a crackhead telling on his dealer because he shortchanged him some crack. Like,
you out of order.
You already wrong for getting the crack. Like, come on now. That's how we be looking. You know, they did this, they did that. But look at what you did. Yeah. Look at how you move. Like, when we get before the Most High, it's gonna be just us. You know, we can always ask for justice, but we can't sit here and say this should happen like this and this should happen like that, because the Most High always dealt with he give you what you say. When David was wrong and David was like, oh, that dude should have been put to death, he was like, hey, you that man. You know what I'm saying? When Ahab was traveling along and that prophet was chilling on the side of the road, out of his own mouth, Saul broke the law that he put into place when he went to the witch indoor. It's like, come on, man.
Yes, he did. We want the law to work against our enemy.
Come on.
We don't want it to work to judge our own condition.
That's right. That's right. That is absolutely right, man. It's such a blessing for the Most High to open our eyes for us to see the truth in all of its glory, not just the half truth that we have been getting, so that we can truly come out of this witchcraft mindset and truly follow him in spirit and in truth, or in law, and lawfully follow the Most High. And I really, thank you for you coming on today and, joining with a brother, coming on here. I put your website or your YouTube page up, but, go ahead and, let everybody know your websites, your socials, and all that good stuff.
Thank you so much, Brother Red. I appreciate you. And before I do that, can I just edify you for a minute?
Oh,
you have such an excellent spirit, brother. And you really are a man of justice. Your desire for things to be right, it shows up in the way that you put pressure on yourself to the level of the excellence you expect out of others. You demand it from yourself, and you literally walk by example. I appreciate you as a voice of strong manhood in our community. I appreciate you for your balanced legal analysis of the condition of men and women in our community, because you don't take sides. You are so fair, and you are such a man of justice in your approach and your way of dealing at and looking at and judging things. And so I honor you as a leader among us and a trailblazer among us for righteousness. You are such the tip of the spear, brother, and I appreciate you so much.
Oh, I appreciate that. I appreciate that. I was thankful for, the Most High really putting you in my life, because I get to have these lovely, nerdy, spiritual conversations again. So you have no idea how much it blesses me. Like, y'all don't understand. We talk like this sometimes. It's like, it just be going. it would just be like that. It just be talking, and that revelation just be flowing. And it is a blessing, you know, to see. And I can tell y'all from firsthand experience, it's like, you know, what you know, the Honorable Judge say, you know, I call, you know, I'll put it like this. I call her sis when it's just me and her, but I'm putting her in her rightful position that the Most High has put her in. So I'm honoring her in her position that the Most High has placed her, because the way that she has brought, that's why I had to have her on for this with witchcraft and stuff, because the way that she has brought law into the Bible and showing us the connection that was missing from us, that was purposely hidden from us, has brought so much clarity into things that I thought I understood. You know, it's like, dang, you know, I thought I knew this verse before, but I'm reading it now with this new understanding of law, and it hit so different. You know, I always understood the whole thing of John the Baptist anointing the Messiah, and like, oh, this was such a good thing. But knowing the law and the order of it all and how it all goes together. And I remember reading the book Abaddon by Bob Larson, and he had this situation where he took the unsaved husband and had him cast a demon out of his wife, and that demon had to leave because of the law and the authorization that the husband has over the wife. And that just it slaps at a whole different level after talking with Judge Char, because she'll bring out just this, you know, because of her unique perspective of having worked in law and having her, in her own words, having her brain rewired by the justice system. But the Most High used what was supposed to be a brainwashing to change her perspective, to get a unique perspective that we don't see all that much. So I'm like, definitely wanted her to bring that and share that perspective with everyone, because it is truly a blessing. And, you know, I like to honor the one who submits themselves to the Most High, because, hey, look, I know firsthand, anybody that's walking with revelation, they go through stuff. Look, y'all, you know, we up here laughing and stuff, but man, look at here.
Understatement of ever.
Boy, look here. I say that to anybody that's desirous of, you know, jumping in front of things and stuff like that. Be careful what you ask for, because the Most High will give it to you, but when you get it, there's a price that must be paid.
Yeah.
You know, just like you can't go and be a judge without going through law school and spurring some time, you can't get into none of these positions of office, that's what they are within the Most High's kingdom, without being pushed down and driven through the mud to get that mess out of you.
Man,
you got to get sheared, like that we talked about earlier with them sheep. And getting sheared ain't fun.
It ain't fun. And look, going through the furnace, because gold has to be tried by fire.
Man, it's one of the big things the Most High uses is agricultural references, and he also uses metallurgy, or you know, dealing with metals, because it's the same thing. You know, we see those sharp swords, and they're like, oh, that's an amazing, beautiful sword, but they got to get pounded, they got to be heated up and melted down, they got to be reformed, they got to get pounded some more, they get electricity applied to them, they get parts of them shaved. There's a process and lots of shavings off that has to happen before you get that final piece. So, you know, just give honor to, you know, all those that go through in the name of the Most High, and that, you know, stand up as leaders, because that is something that we really need to bring back. And that is one thing that I loved about the way you brought it with the law, is it's the respect of authority. You know, the respect of a person where the Most High has placed them. And I respect that the Most High has placed you in that position of judge, because I've seen it. It's not just because, oh, you know, you my homie and all this. No. I see it. Because like sis say, hey, I got to answer to the Most High at the end of the day, so I don't care who he is.
That part.
At the end of the day, am I going to say what the Most High tells me to say, or are you going to go and fear man? And I'm not going to do that. So, you know, I appreciate that. And I appreciate you spending your precious time, you know, coming out and blessing us and the family with this, you know, and y'all can catch her. I put her channel. I pinned it to the top comment, but if there's any other place you want to send the folks to, let me know. I'll put that link in there and all that stuff too.
But I appreciate it. Family, thank you so much in the chat. I bless you, and I pray that this word takes root and that it brings forth much fruit in your lives and in the lives of your family and those who you are called to serve as a royal priesthood. And I appreciate each and every one of you for your love and your faithfulness to our King and to our people. And I can be found at Law for Love ATL. That is my handle on Facebook and Instagram. And I'm on YouTube. I think that's it. I am open to friend requests on my page. It's Judge Char, my personal page, but I don't even know, like I don't think I have an address for that, but you can find me if you're searching on Facebook for Judge Char. I am also in that space to connect as well. So coming out of hiding.
Hey, every Monday at 6 o'clock, she gives amazing teachings on relationships, and it's I've heard lots of folks talk about, you know, the whole relationship talk. I'm actually against most of these podcast dudes, because most of these podcast guys are just former, you know, what they call the near-do-well men, I'll put them like that have just found a new hustle to teach other men how to be like them. And most of these women that be talking about the stuff, they be just on so much lawlessness and wrongness. So it is good to see someone with a biblical backing on it that teaches it in a way that's just like, I've been, you know, in different therapies and stuff, relationship therapies, and I'm always the one that schools the therapist. She's the first person as a therapist can actually school me. And I'll be loving it, and I'm loving it. I'm like, oh, I never thought about it like that before. Yo, that's a great perspective. Oh, that's amazing. I love that. So I truly love how the Most High uses this blessed woman of Yah, and it's a blessing that you all need to definitely take a look at too as well. So.
Thank you again, and thank you for the honor of serving alongside you, bro. I appreciate you.
No problem at all. And yeah, y'all, I'm gonna be back more. You know, the Most High has been downloading a few things in the brother spirit, and you know, I'm gonna come out. I know everybody know me as the, you know, coming talking about the fantastical things, but before, you know, you really get into those things, I like to push a foundation, and this is definitely one of those foundational messages that you have to understand, because if your foundation is raggedy, you better not go looking after all that other stuff. I'm telling you that for a fact. You will mess yourself up. So you better make sure your foundation and your heart and your spirit is right. Like I say, make sure my citrus, my fruit of the spirit, I got to get my citrus right. I got to get that heavenly citrus, man. You know what I'm saying? I got to make sure my heart is right. So that is, you go from glory to glory. So I really thank y'all for coming out today. I thank again the judge for sharing her time with us today. And I will see y'all again later. Y'all have a good one.
Shalom.
Hey, it was bigger than yours. Hey, my God bigger than your wish. Hey, my God bigger than your wish. We celebrate Halloween. Put it in the ditch. Hey, yeah, put it in the ditch. We celebrate Halloween. Put it in the ditch. Hey, yeah, put it in the ditch. Nah, we ain't in the dark, cause we righteous. See, you know we with the light gang. Light gang. Yeah, we with the light gang. Light gang. Yeah, we ride with the light. Light gang, shining bright. We ain't friends with the night, we with the righteous. And you know we with the light gang. Light gang, yeah, we with the light gang. Light gang, yeah, we ride with the light gang. Nah, we ain't in the dark. We a light inside this world. No, we righteous. You know we with the righteous. You can get just like this, like gang, don't bang. No, we righteous, but we can hang with the slang. Ain't playing this light shines so bright, I had to lay back. Ain't they Chirac, but we killing demons, then watch the playback. Then pull up with our spirit. We showing love to the sinners who was stuck in the club, and now the blood hit they psyche. Feeling Christly, we do the right thing, no spite lead, no demons or witches cannot entice me. My sword in my hand like a Mikey, no Freddy Krueger maneuvering from the darkness. Accusers wanna recruit us, cause we was in the dark and his mercy